This is a Health One video for users about the latest version, 8.8.32811, which is being released this week. There's some small changes in it, which I'm going to show you on video now. They include some vaccination changes, some related to your PCR certs after the cyber attack, some small changes regarding the drug module, and some other small things. You can find out what version of Health One you have by clicking on Help and About. And the version is here, version 8.8.32811 that we're releasing this week. The first set of changes, small changes related to the COVID dashboard, the vaccine dashboard. So we click on Analysis, COVID Vaccination Dashboard, and we get up all the vaccinations done today or at any other time, for example, in the last quarter, and you'll see there are 1,912 records there. First thing we've done is we've improved the search. You can search here for a wide variety of things. So if I say O'Shea here, I'm going to get all my O'Sheas, whether they have no spaces. I get the same list if I have a space, same list if I have an apostrophe. So I get a correct list no matter what I look for there. If I look for, say, Stephen, I'll get Stephen, or if it's a female, maybe Stephanie there, Stephen and Stephen. So it's just a small thing, an extended search when you're looking for patient name. The next thing is in relation to the vaccine dashboard is the doctor in charge. Now, the doctor in charge is not used by everybody, but it's just an item you put into the administrative file to say who this patient belongs to, normally whose GMS list it's on, or which practice he's belonging to, if there are several practices in the one location. But you can choose your own list of doctors in this case. So in this case we have 774, and if we wanted to invert the list to get the other practice, we could just right click and invert. This is new, invert that selection, and you'll get, instead of that, you'll get 1129 patients. Small thing again. There are also several small bugs in the submissions that have been fixed. Next, if you're actually giving a vaccine to a patient, the questions have changed slightly, and they will continue to change, and we can change them as we go along. But the one we've adapted now is, have you had another vaccine lasting 14 days, which is not relevant anymore. So if you say yes to this, it's not going to block the system anymore. It just says COVID vaccines and any other vaccines may be administered at the same time or at any interval. So that's not going to block you. Next thing, in the vaccine tab here with all the vaccines, you can print a list of these vaccines. That has always worked, but it didn't print out the batch number and the expiry date, which it does now. That's a fix. While I'm on the subject of vaccines, there is in the monthly HSE vaccination returns, there's an improvement that has been there for some time, but people may not have noted it, and that is the doctor in charge again. This item, if you're using it, you could put in one doctor here, or one doctor followed by a semicolon followed by a second doctor, in order to just print out the children who've been vaccinated by particular doctor in charge. And in fact, in this case, not who they're vaccinated, but who their doctor in charge is, so that you don't print out all vaccines for all patients, for all doctors. That's been in Health One for some time. Now I will discuss briefly the PCRS certs. These have changed, and the URLs for the links to the PCRS have changed since the cyber attack earlier on in 2021. So your GMS checker now works. So if you highlight a patient here and you go Tools, check GMS number online, or do what I normally do, is Control F9 from anywhere. So I'll just take that off and do Control F9, and it works now. So I'm connected to the PCRS and I've checked the number. Likewise, if I edit administrative data and I click on the check GMS number here, that will also work. Why does it work? Because we have hard-coded the new PCRS link for this, but you also must have in Tools, Options, Health link, you must ensure that you have a PCRS certificate. So in the past you didn't need a PCRS certificate on the PC to check the GMS number online. Now you do. So if you don't have a PCRS certificate, you should get on to the PCRS to get it. And in fact, they will install two certificates, verification and an encryption. The encryption is irrelevant, but it has to be installed. So we're giving you, if you haven't got a PCRS connection here, you just choose the PCRS verification certificate, and then it will work. Also in relation to the PCRS parser down here, Tools, GMS Duplicate Manager, PCRS parser, and there's a separate video on the workings of this parser, but it's worth doing this every month. This link to the PCRS website to download your GMS list now works again by doing it directly from there. It'll ask you for your Cert and your login details, and you go straight here to the correct place in the PCRS, and you need to download your full patient list, the second one here, and then you use that in the PCRS parser to check all your GMS patients. The whole workings of that, as I said, are in a different video. Next we'll deal with some small changes in the drug module. There's a default option to send the prescription by email, and focus on send by email. These are again will be helpful. So I have the prescription module open. I'll print the prescription, and this box is ticked automatically, and all I have to do is hit return or click on email and it'll go. This only works if you already have a nominated pharmacy, otherwise you have to click this and then nominate your pharmacy. But it'll automatically just, it'll save a few clicks by doing that. So I repeat that. So just have your prescription up, print your prescription, and you just have to click email here or hit return. That's automatically ticked. This is available by an option. So you may have to go to Tools, Options, Prescription module, and down the bottom right, emailing to pharmacy, and by default, yes or no. So you might, if you're not emailing to pharmacy, or it comes to pass that we're not automatically emailing, we can untick that and we'll be back to normal. There was a small problem here when you're prescribing. Your next due date here is 28 days from the first prescription, but if you're doing it from the patient selector, by right-clicking on the patient in the selector and going down to Display and Edit Repeat Prescriptions, this next due date was based on a 30-day due date, not 28, so we just changed them to be the same. We will also, we haven't done it yet, have a thing here whereby you will be able to email it directly. That's not done yet. In the internal messaging system, we have added a little addition here. When you have got a message, you can reply with the hotkey Control-R, reply all, Shift Control-R, and forward the message Control-F. Just, again, small things but useful. Next we have the DXM, or the lab module. You have an option to display your abnormal results not only in red but in bold, so that they're very obvious to you. Also when you're printing your results, so you can print all of your results displayed. This has always been there, but it wasn't printing everything. So if you click on the down arrow here, you can print to PDF, print all your results to PDF, so you can view them. The co-op results weren't being printed in this scenario, whereas the normal lab results, the consultations with the name of lab were being printed. We've just added the co-op, and we can add other ones if they're needed. So that's just simply printing your results here by using the print button in the data exchange module itself. The down arrow key, print as PDF. It's always been there, but it wasn't printing everything. It was only printing the lab results. We've also made some small changes to the CDM For example, you have to have a PCRS cert. It's now mandatory before you can add a CDM review. Up to now, people were entering text into the smoking fields, and there was no error, and they were allowed to submit them, or commas into fields such as height, weight, and waist circumference. These have all been fixed. So to recap, this is version 8.8.3 2811 of Health 1, which is being distributed in the coming days. And there have been some changes, particularly around the PCRS certificates after the cyber attack, the vaccination, COVID vaccination dashboard, and some other minor vaccination bugs that were fixed, some slight improvements in the drug module, and some other small improvements. That's the end of this recording. Thank you.